Welcome to The Real Deal with Jason Silverman, the podcast dedicated to helping you build the business of your dreams and live the life you always hoped for, with valuable and fun tips and info to make your life easier and more fun. And now, here's your host, a man who sprinkles metal shavings on his breakfast cereal just for fun, Jason Silverman.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Real Deal with Jason Silverman. I'm your host, Jason Silverman, and I'm thrilled to share some time again with you today. Guys, I'm really excited about today's show. Now, I'm sure to many of you, I may just sound like a broken record, because you're always hearing me say just how blessed I am that I get to speak with such super smart entrepreneurs. However, it's really the truth. You know, I'm confident today's show is going to educate and motivate you to be the best that you can be. Sound cool? My guest today is the real deal on so many levels, and I know that you're going to come to that same conclusion the minute we get this conversation rolling. So, as you know, I'm always on the hunt for superstar real deal guests who can share some success secrets with you that you can implement immediately. Okay? Today's guest is, plainly put, a go-getter. Now, I've watched him succeed in a number of different business arms, and quite honestly, I'm excited to pick his brain a bit today. You know, so that you benefit from his experiences. And a little inside baseball, I also benefit as well. If you could see me while I run these podcasts, I'm usually taking as many notes as the people listening. So it is quite selfish on my hand, but I got to tell you, when I learn, everybody learns. So this is a good thing. Now, for the folks who I work with in any of my coaching programs, my mastermind groups, through Powerful Words Character Development, All-Star Cheer sites, or dance sites done right, you know how much I focus on staying positive while you're continuing to improve yourself every single day, right? Well, this show is going to help you to do just that. So today it's going to be my honor and privilege to share an amazing resource with you. You're going to love today's guest. He's a ton of valuable information to help you succeed, as well as a great story to go along with it. So strap yourself in. Today's show is going to be a blast. As I'm sure you already know, I'm committed to helping business owners just like you to become more successful, enjoy your career more, and in general, make your life dramatically and significantly more fun. You know, folks, we only go around once. Let's make sure it's one hell of a ride. All right, boys and girls, it is now that time. I want you to stop surfing Facebook, put away your phone, your tablet, your dog, your cat, your child, whatever, anything that might possibly distract you from today's show. You're about to get some great and immediately implementable information, and I don't want you to miss even a second of it. So, before we officially get going, I want to give you a little bit of background about our guest today. All right? Kyle Gadke is the owner, head choreographer, and head skills instructor of Spirit FX. He provides innovative choreography and skills camp and other cheerleading services to over 300 teams a year across the world. His highest accomplishments in the 2012-2013 season consist of a top 5 finish at the USASF Cheerleading Worlds in Orlando, Florida, and a first-place championship at the NCAA Collegiate National Competitions in Daytona Beach, Florida. Kyle believes in and strives to provide charity camps and events each year for inner-city and low-income high school and rec programs to make sure as many children as possible can be exposed to a camp experience, regardless of any financial burdens and demographic struggles. Got to tell you, folks, these are the kind of people that I get jazzed about working with, people who actually give back. Now, Kyle has been in the cheerleading industry for 11 years at various gyms around the Midwest in many different roles. This is his 10th year as a coach, 9th year as a choreographer, and 8th year as a head judge. Kyle started his coaching career at All-Star Gymnastics and continued on to coach at Cheer Legends. Kyle then coached at Platinum Athletics during their first 2 inaugural years from 2009 to 11. During that time, he co-coached the Level 5 Co-Ed Worlds team to the Cheerleading Worlds in 2010 with an at-large bid, and in 2011 with a full paid bid in which the team placed 18th in the world, the highest placement in Missouri's history. During the 11-12 season, Kyle moved to Chicago to pursue the opportunity as a program and floor director at Famous Athletics in Woodridge, Illinois, and a coach at Ultimate Athletics in Wakanda, Illinois. Kyle then moved back in September of 12 to pursue coaching at Platinum Athletics, where he currently resides as a head coach. Kyle's also a territory accounts manager for GK Elite Sportswear, where he earned the highest sales in the company in 2012. Are you guys getting the theme here, that this is not somebody who has an awful lot of spare time? Well, When he does have spare time, he's a judge for Champion Spirit Group in the AAU, as well as a head judge and production manager for Midwest Cheer and Dance Association. Kyle also offers consulting to gym owners across the country, educating gym owners how to generate more revenue, train their coaching staff to work as a cohesive unit. He assists in training to understand the score sheets better, fundraising, and other gym functions. Kyle was recently featured in the fall 2013 issue of Cheer Professional Magazine, one of the cheer industry's leading magazines, as well as a guest speaker on My Fierce Connection, where he spoke on a webinar to help educate coaches on maximizing the Jam brand score sheets. Kyle was also a nominee in 2014 for Cheerleading Choreographer of the Year. Folks, this is a go-getter. Kyle, welcome to The Real Deal. I'm thrilled to have you.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. Hey, before we get started, for those who haven't had the opportunity and pleasure of meeting you yet or working with you in any capacity, do me a favor. Take a second, share your story with our listeners. What are you passionate about? What makes you tick? Who is Kyle Gadke?
Well, I am from a small town in Iowa, so, I feel like I was already limited a little bit on a lot of options, just being from a small town and from the Midwest. I got into cheerleading when I was 17 and just completely fell in love with the sport. I did football, wrestling, track, baseball, band, choir, you name it. And, I just found my passion for cheerleading. So I one day just got asked to start doing some choreography for a local friend of mine and, realized that I had a niche for it and, became kind of good at it. So just kind of stuck with it and went to college for it. And then just decided to start a company and grow it.
Kind of good at it, huh? That's the understatement of the year. Okay. Well, tell me this. First of all, Spirit FX, what is it?
Spirit FX is a skills camp and choreography company. We go around the country, even around the world, and work with teams to teach them their cheerleading routines, get their skills up. Pretty much, we offer our services to do anything that we feel that we can offer a good product for.
Spectacular. Now, even before you tell me, because I'm going to ask you, why you started it, just as a quick understanding, because I want people to understand, I find very little use in interviewing folks who actually haven't done it yet. So, when you started Spirit FX, I'm guessing like any other business, maybe you had one or two clients?
Absolutely.
So this year, how many clients do you have?
This year we finished up our last year's season with 327 clients.
That for folks who don't understand what that means, can you take a second? What does that mean? When you say you have a client, what does that entail? What do you have to do to service a client?
When we service a client, it's various from high schools to all-star competitive programs, colleges, recreational programs. We go and set up a camp with them. We send staff to them. Everything is done at their location. We go and basically teach them their cheerleading routines, teach them how to better their skills. Sometimes it's one team. I think my biggest camp this year, we had 24 teams at it.
Wow. That's no joke. That is. So you guys, you're racking up the frequent flyer miles.
Yeah, vacation typically isn't a problem if I ever find time for one.
Yes, I've heard about that. I've definitely heard about that. That V word is interesting. So tell me, what made you start Spirit FX?
I had, when I was in high school and we had a camp service come into our high school and work with us, I was just very inspired and motivated with the whole concept of, wow, we had people that came to work with us. We felt pretty special. So, once I was asked on accident, by a friend, hey, can you put a routine together? And I was like, well, I'll try my best. To see if I could do it. And I did it. And they actually went on to win state that year. So I was like, you know what? I want to share the experience and the passion that I had. I want to have kids that I walk into their camp and feel motivated and, just have an awesome experience. And so that's what we founded our company on, was just, let's do this and let's give them a good experience.
That's fantastic. Well, first of all, thank you for doing that. And I actually want to take a quick second, and I want to thank you for the charity work that you do. The fact that you're working and doing skills camps for low income or no income kids, the world needs more people like you. So thank you for doing that.
No, I'm the one that's completely thankful for that. last year was the first year that my company kind of as a whole just decided to offer this, give back because, obviously our company and myself, we've been very blessed the past 10 years. And, we were at a point that we could, financially be able to support doing a lot of charity work. And it was, I'm still kind of speechless talking about it. It was such a learning experience. And, I think it made me a better person. I learned that I was taking things for granted and, really just being able to reflect that, maybe when I have a problem, it's really not that bad because there's other people out there that have it way worse.
True that. That's, it seems so interesting. One of the most common bonds of pretty much everybody I interview on The Real Deal had a very similar experience. I know that we do an awful lot of work with less fortunate, and I see this with everybody who's successful. The need to give back, always. And I'm not saying people give back so that they can become more successful, but I do believe that is a very true symptom.
Absolutely, I would agree.
That's exciting. All right, so I want to dig in because I'm always excited when I get somebody's story who is different from the normal. Okay, I went into corporate America and I was in the financial markets. I made a lot of money. Boring. Yeah. So I always feel like we can learn more from other people's mistakes and hopefully jump over the potholes that they fell in. So, what mistakes do you feel like you've made along the way, and how do you feel like they shaped your business and your success?
That's a very good question. I started my business actually I started in my freshman year of college. So, while I was going to school for business, I started my business regardless without any previous knowledge. I think I was raised correctly, so I think I knew how to run a business from an ethics standpoint and customer service standpoint. But I just kind of jumped into it and got started. As far as the mistakes I made along the way, honestly, I think I made every mistake there was possible. I wasn't charging correctly. I wasn't communicating in a professional way. I really made every single mistake along the way, and it's been great because I'm currently 28 years old. And, the fact that I feel like I made a lot of mistakes when I was 18 and 19 and got them out of the way and learned from them, I feel has really what helped our business in the long run because, I know a lot of people don't get the chance to make their mistakes until maybe they're out of college, and in the corporate America, like you said. And, the fact I got to make mine when I was 18 or 19, and, I still continue to make them every day, and you learn from them. But, as far as getting the base mistakes out of the way that I think you learn not to do, I was very blessed to make those at an early age.
Wow. It's interesting you say that. I had interviewed a brilliant man named Jay Massey, and, his one piece of advice for everybody was get out there and make as many mistakes as you possibly can. Because when you're making mistakes, you're learning. It's one of the things I used to say at my martial arts academy was, there is no win or lose. There's win or learn. So if you win, you learn something. If you lost, you learn something. So it's really just a big math equation. You're going to fail X% of the time. The more times you try something, well, raise your level.
Absolutely.
So you're doing it. All right. So what would you say? What quote best signifies your company and what you try to instill with your clients?
Well, as I said, we're really big in customer service. That's really what we pride our company on. Whether we make a mistake, whatever the case may be, we like to pride ourselves on our customer service, and that's it. But really at the end of the day, it's, hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard. And I hold that quote specifically close to our company and myself because, there's a lot of great camp companies out there. There's a lot of great companies out there. And, I feel like if you keep pushing, you keep working, you're gonna be out there with the best. And, another quote that we like to live by is, work until your rivals become your competition.
Got it. Yeah, well, it's interesting. I remember when we first started out and I looked at all the people I looked up to. Could not, wow, look, they've built the success and I want to model them. And I knew that, I'd written out, when I get a phone call or an email or a letter from this person at this company, or they acknowledge the fact that I'm a player, I'll know that I'm actually doing it for real.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. So, I mean, obviously you're all about getting better and better every single day, obviously with your athletes and clearly with your business. So how do you make your company the best it can be? Obviously you talked about customer service, but what else are you doing to really go above and beyond?
Really to go above and beyond, I hand select my staff every year. I think that's crucial. There's a certain personality aspect to our business, and we have to be very cautious that if we hire anybody, that they need to have the same personality to fit in. And it shows. Whether we do 327 camps last year. I can't be at every single one of those. So I have to have great staff that I can entrust in to do it just like I do, only even better. So really being able to hand select our staff and being able to build a close relationship with them, I think really helps provide a great service. And then really what it comes down to is you just got to keep learning. When you make a mistake, fix it and don't dwell and move on.
I was at a conference this past weekend, and they had it was for a company that has just become they've taken off like a rocket. It's a major franchise in the fitness world, and they had the head of their corporate manager there, and she was talking about hiring, and it was really interesting. She's like, I could get out here and dazzle you with all of the particulars that we look for, but quite honestly, when I look for a staff member, when I interview somebody, if within the first 2 or 3 minutes of talking to them, I'm not thinking in my head, hell yeah, then they don't get hired. And that's, I've lived by that. Life, first of all, life's too short to be around people you don't like. But it sounds like obviously you're trusting an awful lot into your staff.
Absolutely. And those that aren't familiar with cheerleading, our sport is based off of passion. I stay up until 6 a.m. working because of passion. And, if I don't have staff that shares that passion and, they're in it for the money or the glamour or the fame or the name dropping, you've got to share the same passion as me, because if not, we're not going to click on that level, and you're not going to click with our customers, because gym owners own gyms for passion. They're not, for the most part, they're not huge generating businesses. A lot of them do well, but it's tough in this industry to make money. And, you've got to have passion at the end of the day. When you have a bad day, if you have passion, you can keep moving forward. If you lose your passion and you have a bad day, you're going to get burnt out and you're done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And passion's the key to it, right? I remember reading a long, long time ago, find a job you'll love and you'll never work another day in your life. And I believe that to a point. Obviously, we all do things that we need to do in order to generate the revenue in order to live that kind of life that we want to live. But I'll tell you, in no other industry that I've worked in have I met people that are more passionate about what they do. It's hands down a really, really unique industry. So I totally get it. One of the other questions I had for you, I know your time is crazy as well. So what kind of investments have you made within your business to help it grow?
Well, financially, we have decided to really start marketing. Up until this year, we've never really done any marketing. It's been word of mouth, and that's really it. And I'm very thankful that word of mouth has traveled to 327 clients from me being some small town guy from Iowa, of all places, to where I'm at today. So, I decided to invest in marketing this year. We got a website up and running. We've got an app up and running. We've attended numerous conferences and set up booths, to get our name out there and really strive. I'd say the biggest investment, though, is my time. I coach at a very successful gym. I run Spirit FX all by myself. I work for GK full time. I judge on the weekends. I try to maintain a social life so I don't go crazy. And, one thing I learned growing up in high school, when I was in high school, earlier I said I did track, football, baseball, wrestling, band, choir, cheerleading, diving, bowling.
Wow.
I had a part-time job. So here I am as a 17-year-old, student athlete, And, I was trying to manage every sport I did. I was trying to manage a part-time job so I had money, and I had to sacrifice my time. If I had to stay up till 6 a.m. and, I was near a straight A student. I don't want to say straight A student, but I was pretty close. My grades are important to me. So if I had to stay up until 6 a.m. to do homework, that's the price I paid for me to be able to do football, to do all my extracurriculars. I didn't take time out of my sports to stay at home and do homework. If I had to stay up till 6, I stayed up till 6 and I did it all over again the next day. So I was passionate about everything I did. I was passionate about my grades, my sports, my working, my social time. So I had to invest that time, and I instill those values into my company. If I have emails and I have a workload that requires me to stay up until 6 a.m., does it burn me out sometimes? Do I get tired? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I have to have time management, and I believe in everything I'm doing. I believe in my company, and, I make those sacrifices to deliver good customer service.
Wow. Well, and, you and I talked before the interview started, and customer service, client care seems to be words that many people like to throw around. Obviously, I've heard nothing but rave reviews. So many of our clients are your clients that, I always thought, it's not that hard to provide amazing customer service. It's really not. You can do little things that, you can use tiny hinges to swing these big doors, right? Just be a great person to your people. That's all people are really looking for, right? I mean, obviously, your service can't suck as far as what the thing is they're paying for, but more importantly, the experience. The experience is enormous because that's what they remember. Whether or not the choreography that you did for them took them to Worlds is probably irrelevant.
Absolutely.
It's how they felt. How did their kids feel? How did their staff feel? How did everybody feel when you left? So that's important. All right. Tell me this, because I know so many of our listeners are within the cheer and dance world. Where can people find out more about you and how you go about helping to cheer gyms to succeed?
And now, here's your real deal resource of the week.
They can visit our website at www.spiritfx.net. We have a lot on that website. My goal is to make that kind of a one-hit wonder, and you can go there and find out everything you want to know. We have testimonials. We have a client list. We have our prices. We have samples of our work. We have staff bios where you can find out a little bit more about me, a little bit more about my staff. So really, I think a lot of questions and more information can be found just strictly on our website. We also have a app that is available on for Androids and iPhones, and that pretty much has the same information on it as our website. So if anyone's interested in more information, they can go ahead and check those out.
So your app, it's under Spirit FX, correct?
Yeah, the app is called Spirit FX.
Okay, Apple, iTunes, and Google Play. Okay, what I'm doing is I want to make sure that I can actually add all this into our show notes so that if anybody's on the site looking, they can just click right through. So I'll do that for you. All right, I always love to end my interviews with one question, and it's this. If you could give business owners, and whether they're in the cheer industry or not is really irrelevant, but if you could give owners just one solid piece of advice to either help their business or, more importantly, help them to live a better life, what would that piece of advice be?
It would just be to never stop learning. I feel as a business owner I have grown because I have people that give me criticisms, and I take those and see what I can do to make it better. And really, when your business is going good, you're going to be happy, and it's helped me live a good life and maintaining being positive, and just never think that you know it all. Always be willing to learn, take everyone's criticisms, whether they're positive or negative, and learn from them.
Great advice. Great advice. All right, Kyle, thank you so much for joining me today. I know how busy your schedule is, and I really appreciate you joining me today and sharing some of your wisdom with us. So these are great tips, and it's been a great time catching up with you.
Yes, thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Folks, and for those, especially in the cheer world, as you're starting to look at this season coming up and you're looking for the world's best, reach out to Kyle. You will never be upset with that decision. All right, that's all the time we've got today, folks. Thanks for tuning in to The Real Deal with Jason Silverman. For more information about private coaching or to see if you'd benefit from one of our mastermind groups, visit me over at www.jasonmsilverman.com. I look forward to helping you achieve the success that you truly deserve. Until next time, let me leave you with this. Folks, get out there and be the real deal. Set a goal, make a plan, and work like hell towards it and achieve the success that you truly deserve. Now's the time. Get out there and make it happen. Go get 'em, folks. This has been Jason Silverman, and I hope you have a spectacular week.
You've been listening to The Real Deal with Jason Silverman. To access the great resources mentioned in the show and for information on coaching and mastermind group opportunities with Jason, please visit jasonmsilverman.com.